Well, things are much cooler behind this front that came through yesterday. Did touch off quite a bit of hail and gave us our 14th 90-degree day of the season. A break from the heat, a few minor rain chances, but we could be talking about a lot more heat late next week. So a big shift in temperatures over the past 24 hours. This is showing the difference from this early morning temperatures from yesterday's 10 to 20 degrees cooler across a big chunk of Minnesota compared to what we saw yesterday morning when in the southern part of the state at least it was quite warm. Made it to 93, our second hottest day of the summer in the Twin Cities. A lot of 90s here across southern Minnesota, but big divide, just 70 in northern Minnesota behind that cool front. And it touched off some storms. Not really any wind or anything to speak of there, but quite a bit of hail reports. Those storms really developed kind of on top of the southeast metro in western Wisconsin and then pushed south and east. So that's where we saw pretty much any of the weather and also any of the rainfall. Most of us left high and dry. There were a few localized 1-inch amounts if you were lucky. But this has been the pattern for weeks now where locally heavy rainfalls here and there, but that's not enough to undo the drought. It's way too hit and miss. Temperatures today are going to be a little bit below normal too again, a couple degrees below the average, especially western Minnesota, a little bit more of an anomaly there from those normal temperatures. And behind the front, it was chilly this morning. Look at Crane Lake, 37. We had a few 30s up on the Iron Range this morning. Aiken, also up in Eveleth, 39 degrees as well. And high temperatures today are going to be mostly in the 70s, just around 70 again in northern Minnesota, upper 70s, might even eke out an 80 in the urban heat island here in the Twin Cities, but either way, a few degrees below normal. And then we're looking at a little active northwest flow here, not in a real great way though. It's not going to be a big rainmaker, but several little waves, all these little yellow-red blotches you see, these are upper level disturbances coming through, kind of timed out 12 to 18 hours apart. So we'll have minor rain chances late tonight into early tomorrow morning, a few spotty showers. Best chance of more significant moisture though is going to be in Iowa, and then maybe later in the day an isolated shower thunderstorm. So kind of unsettled on Wednesday, but definitely not a washout. None of these days will be, even though that's what we would kind of like, or at least need certainly. And then we're gonna have these kind of minor chances into Thursday and Friday too. It looks more isolated Thursday. Friday though, maybe a better chance of some spotty showers and thunderstorms popping up later in the day. But when you add up all of these rain chances over the next few days, it's not going to be much, and certainly not what we need. We're at a time of year where, I mentioned this before, we need an inch or more per week on average just to stay steady, normal, not grow our deficit. And the best chances of that are going to be to the south, again across Iowa, maybe a quarter of an inch in rain in total, southern Minnesota, less in northern Minnesota. You've also maybe heard chatter about the northern lights. There were some forecasts that were kind of blown out of proportion the last couple of days. There is a chance tomorrow night. KP index of about 4 forecast, which means that if you're in the boundary waters or Angle Inlet, chance of seeing those lights, we really need like a KP index of 6. That's just the energy level of these events that are necessary for it to be visible this far south in the Twin Cities in southern Minnesota. There was a coronal mass ejection, some junk from the sun, but most of the models from NASA and NOAA have it missing Earth. But there's always some surprises. Wednesday night, who knows? Below normal temperatures though here for a couple of days, and then as we head into next week, we could be talking about heat. It's still a little early to tell how much heat and for how long, but the models are kind of agreeing here on a prolonged period of heat. This is looking at the probability of 90-degree temperatures really building across the central U.S. Of course, the southwest is getting all the attention right now, but that could be building north and eastward. As we head into the 8 to 14-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, looking like a pretty good chance of above normal temperatures. So enjoy the break from the 90s. We're going to be closer to normal, mid-80s here Friday, Saturday, but heading into the middle and end of next week, all the models agree at pushing us into the 90s, and some of them have us staying there for a while. So get ready for that. It might make you really savor these cooler days. 78 today, 79 tomorrow. Some showers again tonight into early tomorrow. Maybe an isolated shower later in the day, mix of clouds and sun over these next few days with that unsettled weather. The showers on Thursday pretty isolated or spotty, and then kind of a question mark on Friday's activity too. But there are those chances over the next few days at least. Weekend is actually looking pretty good though, mainly dry and maybe brighter skies.